3rd, 2019, the Wednesday Night Wars, AEW versus NXT. I'm Glenn Rubenstein. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I am joined once again by Matt Morgan and Raj Giri to talk about all the AEW versus NXT action tonight. Matt, did you watch both shows live as they aired?
Yes.
What'd you think? I
thought they were very good.
Raj, we were talking about this off the air. The quality overall was very high. Do you agree, Matt? I mean, just...
Yeah. I thought the girls' match on AEW went a little long. But again, I'm picking nits here.
Yeah, for me, it was kind of the same deal as every week. I feel like the aesthetics of NXT just kind of tire me out after a while with all the dark, but they had the angle of the night with Finn Balor. Mm-hmm. Gives him a fresh coat of paint. That was the hottest thing, I think, on either show. But AEW, I found, again, with the arena, the setting, it's just easier to watch for me, my personal taste. But I thought, both were solid shows. Again, Wednesday nights, like I say, it's my favorite night of the week for wrestling right now. But they're not. NXT was the only thing that had something that's keeping me sucked in for next week. AEW had good matches. My favorite segment of the night with Jericho and Cody, but as far as having something that's hooking me to keep on watching, as far as strong promos and characters, outside of Cody and Jericho, they're not really doing it right now.
That's what it's missing right now, is that there's not enough promos, and maybe that's their difference. Maybe their difference they're trying to go with is just more action-packed wrestling. But too much of anything then becomes static. It becomes the same noise. It's like promos. If somebody screams and yells in their promo the entire time, every time they talk, or they talk really quiet the entire time, every single time they talk, it has no effect.
Yeah.
It doesn't pull people, draw them closer to watching and pay closer attention to it.
Yeah, and when I'm talking about promos, I'm not talking about like the WWE 15 minutes, every hour. I'm talking about, and I mentioned this on Twitter, what NWA Power, with what they're doing right now, where it's a mix. You got your matches, you got your promos, you got your characters. There are things about NWA Power that, I don't feel like a non-wrestling fan would watch it.
Right.
But for me, as far as the mix of promos and matches, it's a good mix.
And they have the ability to steal time by going right from their promo segment right to the ring.
Right. Yeah.
Like back in the day, they used to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And they're not trying to draw that anyway. They're trying to just give today's fans, I think, they're just drawing on today's fans' power. I don't think they're specifically trying to get that mainstream audience.
Yeah.
Do you feel, though, they're still doing the YouTube videos every week, and they're trying to advance some story there, lay foundation. Yeah. Do you think that that's a mistake in the sense that we all watch wrestling with other people? We all watch wrestling with people that aren't as hardcore fans as we are. We've talked before about you'll have a casual fan that will see a promo or an angle, and they'll be drawn in, and they'll say, oh, what is this? I'm curious. I can get invested. I want to watch. I think by doing so much on YouTube and not using their 2 hours on cable, they're missing an opportunity.
Here's why, really quick, Raj, why I'll disagree. Because they can post that all over their social media platforms. Every wrestler can post that all over their social media platforms. All those wrestlers can ask their non-wrestling buddies and famous celebrity friends, could you please post this on your social media? And everybody's going to get a hit on watching that. In my opinion, a hell of a lot more than being on a no-name network like TNA is. And just where it dies. Do you know what I mean? It dies a slow death because nobody's watching. I hate saying that. It's my old company, but it's the truth. They're dying a slow death over there.
And they are moving to Access next week. But Glenn, to your point, if they could get on cable like a real station, I'm sure they would. Billy Corgan said before they debuted that was originally the goal, is to have this be a hit on YouTube, build an audience, and then get a real TV deal. Obviously, they don't want to do something like TNA with Pursuit, what they had for a year, where no one was watching them, and then Twitch, where no one was watching them on that either. On YouTube, you're reaching a ton more people. We'll see where it goes. I enjoy it a lot, but as far as YouTube views go, they had near 500,000 for the first. They dropped down to 280 for the second. Last night's it's still generating views, but it's at around 128,000. So it's a steady decline every week, and quick.
I don't know the views that we're getting.
Yeah. Although YouTube views, I think they sound impressive, but when it comes to advertisers, when it comes to people in the know, YouTube does have a lot of flaws in its algorithm and how easily it can be gamed.
Oh,
Big time.
Yeah.
How often do you watch a video and something else pops up right after before you have the chance to stop it or pause it or move on? I mean, that's all the time. So you get all these videos get extra views just by people accidentally, seeing them. So yeah, it's not a YouTube view is not the same as a TV viewer. When the ratings and YouTube viewers are not anywhere close.
Doesn't the TV viewer have to be registered for 15 minutes, like 1 quarter out before it's considered?
I think they measure it by quarter hours, and I forget if they need to be watching for 3 minutes per quarter hour or if it's on that quarter hour. But the overall viewers is the average of those quarter hours.
I will say this. It's funny how with YouTube views and even Twitch views, people talk about that and are impressed by it. But look at what TNA was doing towards the tail end of its TV run, and it wasn't even breaking on television more than 100,000.
No, on Pursuit, it wasn't doing 10.
Yeah.
If you're talking about Pop and Destination America, they were doing a couple 100,000. I think under 100,000, 200,000 towards the end at Pop.
It's crazy. So, big headline tonight that I'm sure everyone tuning in, regardless of whether you watch both programs live, is Finn Balor appeared to have a heel turn, attacking Gargano and Ciampa at the end of NXT, and perhaps aligning himself with the Undisputed Era. Matt, what's your take on this?
I hope he doesn't join the Undisputed Era. I hope that's not what they're doing. He's much bigger than that. He doesn't need to be doing that. But like, I'm turning heel. I like to see what that does for him.
Yeah, I can't see Balor joining a group where he's not the leader, and Adam Cole's already the leader. You know what I mean? And I think if he was joining the Undisputed Era, he would have flashed that signal at the end. But instead, he did the
guns.
He did the Bullet Club guns, pointing at Gargano. So I think it was definitely a heel turn. But I think he's kind of doing his own thing. We'll probably feud with Gargano.
Is there any way possible that WWE is able to figure out a way to use that naming rights to that group?
Bullet Club?
Yeah, no way, right?
Why they have the club, the original club.
Right. They got the OC.
That's Balor Club. Balor Club. That's why they did Balor Club in the first place.
Balor Club was terrible. It sounded like a yacht club, like. Do you know what I mean?
Like a soccer club.
A polo shirt I would wear that would have an emblem here that would say Balor Club on it.
Hey, that's nice.
Oh,
some love from the fans.
Thank you.
Who put that up right now? You, Raj?
Bob the Builder. I did.
Keyboard. I want to talk about one other high-level thing because this got some traction on Twitter tonight. Wins and losses matter in AEW. They keep saying that. We keep seeing these records flash under each competitor's name when they come out there.
Yes.
Are they going to have seasons and reset that count at some point? Because it does seem 6 months in, a year in, everyone's going to have somewhere between maybe a 35% and a 70% win record. And it's going to look kind of ridiculous if you've got double and triple digit numbers out there and you're ranking everyone by, fractions.
And I wouldn't see anything. I wouldn't see a problem with that if they did that. Actually, if they said seasonal, as far as both ways, seasonal being where they actually took time off, let the wrestlers get maybe 2 months off of TV, a month off. I don't know, something like that. Or they just do actual, like WWE does a draft. Mm-hmm. They would just we're resetting, you know what I mean? At this point, they give us like 6 months heads up as fans watching the show. 6 months from now, they are going to reset these records. And so you have so-and-so who has the highest win-loss percentage record, better be wrestling for the world damn title on that last show leading before they reset their season back at 0-0 each wrestler.
I like a fan of ours, Josh Lucy, tweeted at me that it should be perhaps like a skee ball, and they should be able to cash in their wins for a title opportunity. I suggested that maybe a tag team could pool their wins together to get a singles opportunity for one of the competitors. Yeah,
because if you just do a general reset, like let's say for their Memorial Day pay-per-view, because that was their first, so that's almost like their annual, that could be their WrestleMania. The only thing is that wins and losses that last month, because you got your pay-per-view matches set going in, then for everyone else, the wins and losses don't really matter if they're just going to reset. But if you did it like maybe from a wrestler's debut, it counts for each year and it resets. So every wrestler, it's different depending on from their debut. They got 1 year and then each successive year. And then you could do storylines where they got 2 months coming up and they need to build up their wins in order to get a title shot. I don't know.
Someone also suggested there could be something like Money in the Bank where you get your record wiped clean. And that could be a great story where someone that can brag that they're undefeated. They have 0 losses because it all gets wiped off.
Or they get the briefcase and they start off 25-0. 10-0. They get their shit raised and they get also to be 10-0.
Yeah.
I like this prize idea. I want someone to cash it in for like a remote controlled car or a title shot. And that could be the thing. Like in the Best Friends, like Trent really wants that remote controlled car, but he's like, no, we got to save him up for the title shot. Don't cash in your wins yet.
Or just anytime someone gets a title shot, it resets. So if you get a title shot, you lose, boom, you're back to 0-0. And that makes it more like you really need to win that much more.
Yeah.
Why did skee ball stop being a thing? When we were
It's
kids,
still a thing.
But skee ball was huge when we were kids.
They got Dave and Buster's. I play it with my daughters all the time.
Chuck E. Cheese as well, yeah.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese was the shit back in the day. Have you been in one lately?
That was one expensive ass birthday party my mom told me. Like years later after the fact.
I took my kids once, like 6 years ago, never again.
Yeah, now it's totally different, and pretty sure there's E. coli in those ball pits. Anyhow, let's run through both shows. We got news about WWE 2K20, this week's Raw ratings, CM Punk, Crown Jewel updates, all that.
Why? Wait, time out. Why are we covering all that? We have 2 shows to cover here. Why are we throwing all this other stuff in there?
Well, it's not too much. It's not too much. But let's get going.
Yes, AEW Dynamite tonight. Private Party versus the Lucha Brothers. Both teams earning the distinction of being the first competitors on AEW to open 2 shows. Lucha Brothers opened 2 weeks ago. Lucha Brothers opened last week in a match. Private Party the week before that. Tonight going against each other, putting on a tag team clinic with Lucha Brothers picking up the win, advancing in the tag team tournament. What did you think of this tonight with Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix winning over Private Party, Matt?
I hate that they're in the same bracket. That's all. What an amazing match, though. The match itself was incredible.
Yeah.
I thought. Incredible match. I've just been really feeling Private Party, and I would have liked to have seen them not have to take the L.
Yeah. Yeah, Private Party, they have improved so much over this past year. Like, there were a couple of moves here and there, like, where I don't know if they were tired or what, but he hit like a kick and it looked like it wouldn't crack an egg. I don't know if you noticed that. There were a couple spots here and there, but other than that, they look really good. Pentagon and Phoenix look great. I think it was the right call for Pentagon and Phoenix to advance with this bracketing, but I almost think you should have had Private Party beat the Dark Order. It would have gotten Private Party even more over because the fans would have been that much more behind them.
Yeah, that's true. They can't stand them. Well, what do you think about the guy in Private Party always screaming, by the way? We never talk about that. People just ignore that. What the hell is that?
You're not talking about, not Mark Quinn, but
the other one, his partner. Not Mark Quinn, definitely.
Isaiah. Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his name right now?
Last name's Cassidy.
Yeah, Isaiah Cassidy.
Him. What the hell is that gimmick? Go back, folks, and watch. I know it's hard because they go 100 miles an hour and they do all this cool stuff that you're like oohing and ahhing over that, like every 10 seconds. But listen closely. The dude screams every time somebody hits him with something offensive. It's a high pitch yell. I don't understand.
I need to check it out, but
it's memorable. You're talking about it. You notice it.
Glenn, do you know what I'm talking about or no?
I mean, it didn't stand out to me. But then again, I don't know. I think
he's been doing it for the last 4 weeks now. It's like part of his shtick. Fans in the chat room, you know what I'm talking about.
No, people are saying it's awesome. Screams like somebody shot him.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, somebody. There we go. Jack Gonzalez saying the scream is over. People like the scream. No, I like it. I guess, and that's the difference for me. I guess, Matt, is that when I think it, and this says it right there because you don't think it works. When I think something works, it doesn't stand out to me like a sore thumb. But as we've seen in this podcast, when something doesn't work for me, oh my god, I can't let it go. It's like a tooth I've got to keep flicking at. I just can't leave it alone.
A tooth? Who flicks?
Yeah, you get that loose tooth, and remember as a kid, it's like, oh, don't mess with it; it'll fall out on its own. Like, I just got to keep.
So funny you said that. My kid just did that last night in our bed going to sleep, and his second tooth came out. I swear to God.
See?
He was doing
just
exactly just saying, yeah.
Because so I agree with you to that point, Matt. It's like, yeah, when something bothers you and sticks out, it becomes a talking point in and of itself, and it could become distracting. It's actually, pivots into the next match, which was SCU versus the Dark Order, whereas the Dark Order's gimmick, everyone keeps saying, oh, they're the most amazing wrestlers. They were so great on the indie circuit as the Smash Brothers, but that gimmick, I can't get over the gimmick.
I don't think most people can. I mean, did you hear how like the crowd cooled off in this match?
Of course.
Yeah, it's this. I mean, I pointed this out on Twitter. As far as creating gimmicks, AEW's had a bad start because they created the Dark Order, and they created the Librarian stuff, and that's both of those have just been death. So they need to work on that. But yeah, this sucks. The Dark Order, and they're talented wrestlers in the ring, whatever, but the gimmick is so bad that it overshadows that.
No, there's one of them that's a talented wrestler in the ring.
The Viking Raider one?
Yeah.
No, the Stu Grayson.
Yeah, he's good.
I thought that was a guy that looks like he should be in the Viking Raiders.
No, the Viking Raiders Uno.
Oh. Wait, what? No, I meant the guy with the face paint. The skinnier bald one.
Yeah, the Stu Grayson. Yeah, he doesn't look like a... Well, I guess, okay, the face paint looks like Viking Raiders. The body type...
If he came out with the Viking Raiders, you wouldn't say it looked out of place.
Yes, he's tiny.
The dude has abs. He's got a six.
Yeah, no, you put him in the middle. Like the Viking Raiders are his backing band. I know that Uno guy. It's funny for me to say this, but it's like, dude, somebody needs to get some of that DDP yoga. Download the app. It's the Wrestling Inc. promo code still active, Raj. Use that. Yeah. Get in shape, buddy. You're on cable television.
DDP Yoga / Wrestling Inc.
Yeah. I'm just saying, for a bigger guy like Kevin Owens owns it. It works. It's good. There's a lot of bigger guys out there right now that you buy and you believe. But with this dude, it's like, brother, put a shirt on. Pretend you're going swimming. You don't want everyone to see that.
Yeah.
It's my patented move. The T-shirt in the swimming pool. Save everybody's eyes. But here's what I want to know. When the segment by segment,
your areolas show through. Your areolas.
I don't have expressive nipples, so I think that I got that going for me.
That's when you know it's time to move on.
When the segment by segment ratings come out tomorrow, Raj, what is the dip on the Dark Order match tonight? How bad is the dip?
We'll see.
How many minutes was that match? That's how you'll know. How many minutes was that match?
It wasn't that long.
7?
I don't have it in front of me. I'm trying to edit something in the meantime. Yeah, it wasn't that long, but I would think there was a Matt Riddle match on at the same time. I would think if there is a quarter hour that NXT wins, it would probably be that one. We'll see.
Dude, that was a completely polar opposite quarter hour going on in NXT.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was a blowout, I would argue.
Yeah. So with that, SCU won by pinfall. I almost tweeted that if the Dark Order went over SCU tonight, I was done with AEW. Like I was. That's a bridge too far.
I felt like fans were extra into SCU because they were facing the Dark Order and they wanted Dark Order out of there. That's why they're like so into SCU's offense. Yeah.
I mean, SCU's over though. No.
Yeah, they're over, but I felt like they were extra over because they don't want to see the Dark Order advancing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela.
Did you say who won?
SCU via pinfall to advance to the finals.
So next week it's SCU versus Lucha Brothers for the tag team titles.
Will be awesome.
That should be awesome.
Wait, the finals are next week and not at Full Gear?
Yeah, they're next week.
Yeah, it's next week. Which is good because they do need to have something built up for TV as well. You know what I mean? Not all these cold matches. I mean, they're a new company, so a lot of things are going to be cold, but they need to build up for these matches. You know, that they're putting in on that TV show instead of the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that...
No, Prince Castro. That's messed up.
Throwing everybody off my scent.
Isn't it hard to talk when those things pop up sometimes? Because I want to read them as I'm talking, and it throws me out sometimes.
So, Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela. They made a big point that this match happened on AEW Dark, and it was so well received. They were doing it again here tonight. Should also be noted that during the previous match, and this is where I think it really showed the shortcomings of the Dark Order. During the previous match, Chris Jericho in the inner circle walked out through the crowd, went up to a skybox. I did tweet at Chris that if he wants better seats to AEW, we can use our sponsor SeatGeek, promo code INC to save $10 off. But they went up there, walked through the crowd. That was so distracting that I felt like that. I mean, Matt, did you think that almost overshadowed it? The fact that you have Jericho, who is the hugest star, perhaps in all wrestling right now for some fans.
Don't you think that was the point of it, though?
But Okay, imagine, Matt, if you're out there in your match, you're doing your shit, you've got fans.
I'd be in a situation where I'd make these fans care about me, so no one is walking in during my segments and thinking it's okay to have habit, where the ref wouldn't be okay with that. Which is Dark Order's job. Dark Order's job is to make people care about them.
Yeah.
Or hate them.
Yeah, just very overshadowing. But it was good, and it did lead to perhaps the high point tonight. But let's talk about Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela. Now, they were trying to set this up that, Omega hasn't had a lot of wins lately. He needs to pick up a win in this one. What did you think of this match, Matt?
Incredible. Are you kidding me?
It's fantastic.
I thought the Dark, what's it called? AEW Dark. I watched it the other night. I was like, holy crap, they gave these dudes 30 minutes, it felt like, out there. It's like, this was like a pay-per-view quality match. Like, he was doing hardcore stuff, Kenny. Mm-hmm. I was like, wow, on the Dark show? Like, that's, wow. Dude gives it his all. You can't say he doesn't. He doesn't pick and choose which matches to phone it in on, I'll tell you that. But tonight's match, same thing. I was really impressed with it. And Joey can wrestle, believe it or not. The dude can wrestle. It's not all just hardcore he has to do. He can throw arm drags. He can take them. He can do other things besides but he's kind of getting pegged in there, you know what I mean? And sandwiched in as a gimmick with the hardcore stuff. If he can just figure out how to put a little bit of it in there and then showcase some of his wrestling here and there, he's going to be good because that dude's charismatic as hell. He's still finding himself. He plays to the crowd an awful lot. He did it on Dark. What was it? Was it last night? When was Dark?
Last week.
I just could have sworn I saw something with him versus Cutler. Right? Wasn't he wrestled Brandon Cutler, Joey Janela?
That was a couple weeks ago, right?
No.
Oh, was it last night? Okay. I haven't gotten to watch last night yet. You're probably right. Sorry,
he got to win versus Cutler, but he wrestled a lot in that match too. But he kept playing to the fans. He kept going up to the second turnbuckle and like, "Hey, look at me," and that tells me he's still figuring out who he is, which is good. I'm a fan of that. People trying stuff out and feeling out who they are. Because they're the ones that grow into this character that much faster. Yeah. A real character, not a version of themselves, but a real character.
Yeah. And this was another good match. It was completely different from the one that they had on Dark. And
he's good. I'm a fan of him.
Yeah, Janela's got personality. Kenny Omega desperately needs some mic time. I feel like he can have all the good matches he wants, but every week he just seems like less and less of
Did you see his
big star.
You're right. Did you see the promo he cut in Mexico?
After winning the AAA,
they kind of like that's the Kenny they got to show. Mm-hmm. They got to show that guy.
Yeah, and same as Moxley. Moxley cut some great promos in New Japan. Hasn't had any real promo time, on AEW TV yet. It's all Jericho and Cody, which they're making Full Gear main event heavy, which is what UFC pay-per-views, and we'll see how that works. But I feel like you got to give at least the second or third tier matches some in-ring promo time as well.
It's just in some cases just a minute even. Like sometimes video packages do the trick too. Britt Baker's video package tonight was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
awesome.
And that's what's interesting about it is that they are putting on these pay-per-view quality matches with their top talent each week, mixing it up. I want a little bit more. I want a little more meat in the mix, as it were, as far as the story. I mean, Matt, could you imagine you're given the opportunity to wrestle and show everything you could do in the ring? Wouldn't it frustrate you if you're not getting this TV time to show what you could do with a microphone in your hand?
Eventually, yes.
Yeah, and again, you don't need to do a long promo. And NWA Power, we mentioned it earlier, how they have the studio right there. But you could have the announcer walk into the ring right after the match, and they do a quick promo, and just a couple minutes, a few minutes here and there, just say a Moxley or an Omega, just really get those characters out for people that don't know them that well. They're not that big on the US scene yet. I mean, Moxley is, but Omega.
And then here's the other catch-22 with that, though. Do you really want Kenny talking? Because sometimes when he does, I'm like, he's like one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers. I love the guy. I love watching him. But it's like that one thing I like get chalkboard scratch from him every once in a while when he cuts these overly, I don't want to say goofy, but not somebody who I'm concerned that's going to go kick somebody's ass in a wrestling match. Mm-hmm. He can get there. He did it when he was in Bullet Club when he first started. When he first started with Bullet Club in New Japan, his promos were freaking good.
Yeah, he had some good ones in the build-up with the match with Jericho and Tanahashi too.
He looked cool. His leather jacket, his shades on too. But he looked the cleaner. He looked cool as well.
And we did get a vignette with more of Wardlow tonight.
Yes, that dude. He looks humongous. But like they said, what's his name? What's his name? I'm terrible.
Wardlow.
Our buddy Justin
LeBar.
He was telling us that, I'm like, dude, that guy's got to be like 6'6", 300 pounds. He said, no, he's like 6. But I was like, that's what a good job AEW did of making him look like a monster in that first vignette we saw. And then tonight, I thought tonight was another home run as well.
Yeah, he looks like a beast. It'll be interesting to see, how they bring him in. But he looks cool.
With that name, it has to be some kind of gimmick, right? There has to be some sort of shtick there, right? What was his shtick on the Indies?
I guess that wasn't that his name on the Indies too. I think he's been using that name.
That's just the name. It's not like some
an occupation that we don't know what.
Right, like you mean like Luchasaurus or something like that?
Yeah, it's not like he's like the demonic, the keeper, the gate to hell or something like that. With it, no, sounds like an evil name to me.
His real name is Michael Wardlow.
Well, there you go. Well, you say it that way, it makes it sound like he came from Office Space or something.
It is. Is it? Wardlow sounds much cooler than Wardlow, so hopefully they go with that.
Yeah.
Sounds like Warlord.
Yes, I think that's where I'm getting the people stuff from in my head with his name. Yeah.
Yes, he also shares the name with the chief commissioner of the Equality Commission for Northern Ireland. Which, yes, it does sound. Michael Wardlow does sound like a very sterile name.
How do you know that? Where'd you get that?
I just Googled Michael Wardlow. Okay. That's the first thing that came up. He's not even the most famous Michael Wardlow. AEW's got to do something here with this. Are you the most famous Matt Morgan, Matt?
Yes. Although we have a very, very famous Matt Morgan attorney right here in my same county, and he's my friend.
Yeah. Huh.
There you go. Yeah, I share the name with like a laser spine doctor in Pennsylvania. I'm sure he gets a lot of angry tweets that's like, "You're an AEW fanboy." Okay, so let's talk about, for me, what was the high point. Kenny Omega won that match against Joey Janela.
Let's not talk about that.
Let's talk about the high point of tonight's show, which was Cody coming out to the ring to talk to Tony Schiavone. Made it seem like he had an announcement, and then an air horn went off. And my first thought was, oh my God, what freaking the biggest asshole fan ever brought an air horn in there? And it was Chris Jericho. The Inner Circle had them, and this was freaking brilliant.
I thought the same thing, actually. I was like, oh, come on, you dicks. What are you doing?
Yeah.
This was so good. Jericho said, what are you going to do? Come up here and face us? It's 4 against 1. So out came Dustin. Out came MJF, and out came DDP. They went up there to confront them, and we ended up with Cody and Jericho fighting into the concession area. There may have been Dippin' Dots involved. It was brutal. It was intense.
Cody punched Jericho was hiding through behind a glass door. The Inner Circle was hiding, and Cody punched through the glass, and it was cool. I mean, it was awesome. This was my favorite thing all week.
And this was different. Different. This was different.
Mm-hmm.
And this is part of the thing. This is why I say everyone's like, oh, you guys want too much too soon with storytelling. No, they've done some amazing things with storytelling. I just want just a little bit. Give me like two story things, 2 story beats, and a little more each week. That's all I'm asking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right now it's all Jericho, right? Even this promo, Jericho was the strong point of the promo. Cody looked great. I mean, he was the yin to his yang.
Well, maybe the Bucks and what do you call it? Santana and Ortiz, right? They're trying something there, no?
Well, they haven't. I mean, as far as promos and like a segment like this where you're doing something outside the ring. I mean, again, I know we're 4 weeks in. We'll see where they go, but trying some things with other talents, giving them something a little outside the ring, like we said with Moxley or a Pac or Hangman Page. But this was awesome. Yeah, like I said, my favorite thing on the show was, again, Jericho's promo a couple weeks ago, and now this.
Mm-hmm. That was funny, though, with the bull horns or whatever, the air horns.
Did he say this isn't the other company with the invisible wall? I missed that.
Yeah.
That's the best. We were just talking about that the other night. You chase a guy around the ring, and as soon as he comes in the ring and then leaves the ring, the ropes like stop you from going up the ramp and kicking his ass.
Yeah.
That's always going to get a pop from the audience, right? Taking a shot at WWE.
Those fans, yes.
Yeah. And the invisible wall, I think that's a reference to Hornswoggle, right? Where they had the hole in the wall, and like he could go through it, and then someone else would try to, and they'd get hit in the head.
It's what I was saying earlier. Anytime there's a brawl in WWE, the way the heels would always leave is they'd hop the guardrail or go somewhere else, and then like the babyface was like, I almost had him, and he's sitting in the ring with his, in his hand. It's stupid every single time.
So this was great. I think this is going to be definitely the most YouTube, most viral clip of AEW this week. And then they followed that up with the best friends with Orange Cassidy.
I'll break this down a little bit more really quick. Remember Nitro when Hogan and NWO were up in like the DJ booth talking smack to whomever with Rodman as well, while there was a ring full of baby faces. They were talking all this smack to them from up there, and nothing was done. The faces were like, if we got up there, we'd hurt you, but they never went and got after them.
Mm-hmm.
It happens a lot.
Yeah. JJB Gaming saying Jericho 7 is what I live for every week. Those stuff like that is what made me a wrestling fan. Jericho versus Cody, I'm excited. I'm really excited for that match because of how they've played it up on TV. I'm not that excited about Omega and Moxley, and I feel like I should be. I know it's going to be good, but as far as the TV build, it's really done nothing for me.
Yeah.
There's a little bit there, though, right? There's a little bit there by not giving us them fighting too much. I always get pissed when they let two big stars touch each other before their pay-per-view matches.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they've done a decent job, except for the time Moxley put him through a plate glass table, coffee table. You want to save it for the pay-per-view, make people pay their hard-earned money to see that match.
Sure, but maybe a video package showing their past, just something,
Yeah.
Like it was barely mentioned tonight. I felt like.
They played the video. It was, but in the past, correct me if I'm wrong. Have they played the videos about? It's when Moxley got hurt. When Kenny was talking smack about him trying to go to Japan and try to wrestle the same style he did, so he can learn everything about him.
Right.
And he failed, and he ended up getting hurt over it.
Yeah.
They need to talk like more stuff like that.
Yeah, and that was not on TV. That was on.
That was a BTE.
Yeah.
Damn, that should have made it to TV.
Yeah, exactly. Jericho had a line about the scarf. MJF was one of the guys that came out with Cody, and Jericho goes, "You wear a scarf? What kind of man would wear a scarf?" or something like that. And what do you call Cody? A whiny ass bitch millennial.
Yeah. See, so what I think on this is with Moxley and Omega. Here's a great example of what we're talking about. Moxley and Omega could perhaps even be bigger stars and get more attention than what Jericho and Cody are doing right now. But I don't think they're giving them a platform to have actual heat on TV and really advance the story there. Especially Moxley. You've got the WWE's top guy, or one of the top guys.
Top guys, you're right.
And you're just not using him. I mean, if they need to use him like they're using Jericho.
But here's the thing: they're both faces.
Yeah, that's weird to me too. I feel like that's hurting the dynamic of this.
That's what Jericho is so goddamn money.
Yeah. In Jericho versus Cody, it's a simple story that they're telling so well. Cody has never won the world title, even though he won the NWA title at All In, but they're not counting that. Mm-hmm. Cody has never won the title, really wants it bad. Jericho's this cocky ass heel that no one can beat and thinks he's the greatest thing, and has backed it up over decades. It's an awesome story, and they're telling it week after week in a great way. Yeah. But Moxley and Omega, it's here and there.
So this is a good question. They don't promote being the elite on AEW Dynamite each week.
That's a hell of a point. Why not just show them? It's not just showing them love. They're helping friggin' transition your superstars, your wrestlers on your roster. You're paying. They're helping get their stories over on their own damn thing. They should be.
Wonder if they don't want the guys kind of out of character, seeming buddy with, in comedy segments with the heels. What surprises me is how they're not promoting AEW Dark more. Like you have to find that yourself. They mentioned it tonight. Last week there was no mention, but I almost feel like AEW Dark should be on Thursdays on YouTube, so that way you could be like, tomorrow night on AEW Dark, this is what's coming up. Check it out on YouTube, as opposed to, almost a week. This is what's coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're figuring out the right pacing still, in terms of what works. So Matt's going to be back in a moment. Then we're going to talk about Best Friends with Orange Cassidy versus the Young Bucks. Is this the case here, do you think, Raj, where Orange Cassidy is so over? I mean, he in my mind, he overshadowed this entire match tonight. I think now with the Best Friends, Orange Cassidy just further points out how he's a star and they're not. The pairing of them, I think, is not elevating the Best Friends at all.
I mean, the Best Friends, they're more over than, say, the Dark Order or something like that. They're not top guys, but no, not everyone can be. But yeah, Orange Cassidy, it made this match more interesting. Obviously, the Young Bucks being there, it shows how popular Orange Cassidy is. When the Young Bucks nailed him. Well, why don't you run through what happened? We can talk about
that's
it.
What you were gonna say is exactly right.
Yeah, at the beginning, they got into it with Orange Cassidy. Sorry.
Okay,
at the beginning.
The Young Bucks went to go hit their pose.
Yeah.
The pre-match pose, and then in between them was Orange Cassidy. Young Bucks took offense to it, and they pushed him. Orange Cassidy went and sweet shin music and tried to super kick them in their chins like Orange Cassidy does, and the crowd popped for it huge. Poor Jim Ross.
You can tell he hates this.
Tony Giovanni did a decent job with it. The poor guy as well. Yeah, is the next Rock. Did you know that Orange Cassidy is the next Rock?
Yeah. Who was it? Was it Matt Jackson? And then knocked threw Cassidy out of the ring and got booed loudly. It was like when they pulled a mask off of Phoenix at that pay-per-view where the fans just turned on the Bucks, but
they did.
Yeah.
They did. And that again at the end of the match too.
Yeah, he's super over. I thought he upstaged everyone else in this match. The Young Bucks did win by pinfall. So, of course, both these teams, Best Friends and the Bucks, out of the tag team tournament. This was seen as the consolation match that they had tonight. But, yes, even though the Young Bucks got that pin, Orange Cassidy was the clear winner of this match.
Yeah, he got over it. But the question, again, what a big fan I am, but what happens when he's got to wrestle in a singles match versus somebody? Like Jim Ross is going to quit on the air. He's going to take his headset. He does a good job, though, when you think about it. I don't get it. At least he says, I don't get it. You know what I mean? What am I feel like I'm missing something here. Come on, explain it to me, Excalibur. Smart, very smartly so, because what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
If you don't get it, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's at the point now with Orange Cassidy. I mean, this guy is one of the biggest draws in the company. And it's not.
He's not the biggest draw in the company.
I said one of the biggest draws.
He gets the biggest pop. There's a difference between drawing viewers and getting people to tune in. That's what a draw is. He gets a great pop. I mean, the Best Friends get a huge pop when they hug, but they're not a draw.
I think Orange Cassidy's a draw. We got people showing up, little kids dressed as him.
Yeah,
cosplay.
There's a big difference.
I'm mark for him, so I want to say yes to all that, but it's not true. He's not a draw.
Right.
Did anyone ever cosplay as you, Matt? Did anyone ever show up and they're like, I'm cosplaying as Matt Morgan tonight?
Jesse Neal, you remember Jesse Neal, right? From TNA, he was a military vet. He tag teamed with the Dudley Boys. He's one of their trainees from 3D Academy.
Okay. Yeah. He was in the Army or the Navy.
Yes. Long story short, his little nephew dressed up as the Blueprint for Halloween. His little 7-year-old went out on Halloween with freaking skibbies on, basically, a fake beard and mustache and fake tattoos everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There you have it. So with Orange Cassidy, yeah, sky's the limit for this kid. I think he's doing great. I think it seems to me that MJF and him are getting the most reaction outside of the title picture. And I say that just by people showing up dressed as Orange Cassidy and people wearing the MJF stuff.
That's what I would say. Without having to wrestle, they're getting the most over, I would say.
Isn't that almost better, Matt? Could you imagine if you could go back in time and get super over and you never have to bump?
That would be amazing, yes.
That
would be the way. That's the key. If you can do that, then everything else is cream cheese. It is.
Yeah.
If you can get yourself over that because we're talking right now about the characters, right, Raj? I mean, Orange Cassidy, we get the character. You know, it's
there are things in wrestling that are cute, like the Scotty 2 Hottie the Worm. The Scotty 2 Hottie was never a draw. You're not paying a pay-per-view, but in a show it's fun. But at some point, if it's Scotty 2 Hottie versus The Undertaker on pay-per-view, you're not going to buy it. At some point, how do you incorporate that gimmick into a
I don't know.
Or do you keep it as he's, does a couple spots in the tag team match and it's just fun, but you never really do more than that?
Yes, and I think that's perfect. I think it actually highlights. It brings up the best friends. Yeah. I think it raises them up.
Yeah, for sure.
He's their exclamation mark, not them.
Mm-hmm.
After the match, Matt Jackson got on the mic, said, Santana Ortiz, we accept, and the two teams will meet at Full House. Full Gear. Sorry, it's late, folks. We just watched the Full House pay-per-view. Somebody do those credits. Full Gear happening in Baltimore a week from 2 weeks? 2 weeks. 2 weeks from Saturday on pay-per-view. We got Britt Baker, a vignette for her talking about Pittsburgh being her home, a place she studied to be a dentist and learned to be a pro wrestler. She said it'll all come full circle tonight. Welcome to Pittsburgh. And we got Britt Baker versus Jamie Hayter. What'd you think of this segment and match, Matt?
Jamie Hayter needs some more work. She's still real green. As is Britt. But Britt, I like the new look. I thought she physically, like her hair, I don't know what she did, but it looked different. She looked more like a star tonight. Her wrestling's, I know it sounds stupid to say, how can somebody improve from one week to the other? I thought she improved. Maybe that's a confidence being in her hometown like that tonight. I don't know, but she felt like a star to me tonight. The video package played a big part for me in that too.
Yeah, the video package was great. I mean, it was just a showcase match. I mean,
it went too long though, for the record.
Yeah, for a showcase, you don't need to go that long. Everyone knew who was winning, but it was done. It did what it was supposed to do: is build Britt.
Mm-hmm. I like how much Ross puts her over.
Mm-hmm.
He makes me feel like she's a big deal as well. He put her over huge.
So after this, Jamie Hayter, what's her story, Raj?
I mean, she's not someone that got plans for. She was just there to lose. I mean, she was
covering 2 shows, man. We don't have time.
Well, no, I was saying is because after there was a backstage interaction she had with Jen Decker talking about the loss, and then she interacted with Brandy Rhodes coming out, shoving her. She said Brandy started her angrily. So that's why I'm saying.
I think this is to build a Awesome Kong versus Britt Baker, probably. I'm sure it's something more for Awesome Kong. It's not something for Jamie Hayter, although they could do a squash or something.
Mm.
So. Before Moxley and Pac get going, Pac hammered Moxley with a chair, started choking him with his own jacket, and sending him into the barricade. Then the match began. Now, this did go to the TV time limit. It did end at a draw with Moxley saying, time limit my ass, repeatedly as the show went off the air. But what did you think of this match, Matt?
How many times did he say it?
Until it went off the air. Like he was just on a loop. I mean, he must have said it at least 5 times that I heard.
I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I like that actually. That went to the distance as far as TV time. Wrestling never ends that way. For the life of me, I could never figure that out. How does everybody finish their match right in time, right before 7:15 for Raw or whatever? As a kid, I always wondered that question.
Yeah. I love the ending. I tweeted that I love the ending. I like that it gets the time limit over. Again, to Matt, to your point, like every match ending right as they're about to go off the air. This makes it look more real and unpredictable.
Right.
And neither guy should lose right now either. And it's a good way to get out of a match without doing a cheap DQ or a count out. Yeah, obviously, if you do this all the time, it's going to get old real quick. But this is the first time they've done it on TV. I'm not counting pay-per-view, but on TV.
Well, let's think about this, right? Because I had a good sports feel to it, like that rule, right? Like,
right.
If it's, like, for instance, imagine if a baseball game was only given 1 hour of a time block on TBS, Superstation, let's say, and then the umps call the game after the hour is over. Could you imagine that? No game would be over. Every game would end prematurely. I think they do need to do it more, quite frankly. Not every time, but every few weeks. Because it's realistic. If you only have an hour or 2 hour show, how could you possibly say, like with 15 minutes left in the show, that every single match that you close the show with will finish within 15 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
We're treating this like a sport, I'm saying.
Yeah, you have football games that go to a draw. They're rare, but it happens. It has to happen. So I think not having time limits is kind of ridiculous. I mean, MMA, you got your rounds. It's
it really is.
So I like it. It's something, again, trying to be different, trying to be an alternative. WWE never does that. It's different.
Yeah.
And then after the match, Moxley, giving the paradigm shift to the referee was a nice touch too.
Oh, he gets a pop. Do you think it'd be cool if they put a time clock, like a stopwatch almost, like on the bottom corner, like they used to do on Fox for TNA? They used to put it at the top of their screen.
Like in the last minute?
Just in general, like if this match is scheduled for one fall and has a 9-minute time limit, let's say, and then they start running 9 minutes once the bell rings and starts.
Somebody has to have done the research on that, and I'm sure for some people,
Fox back in the day.
Well, I think for some people, like a football game, it would intrigue them more because they're like, oh, something really good's going to happen. There's only a minute left in this match.
Yes.
But for other people, they might feel like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I just joined in progress.
Yeah,
I'm going to watch something else.
Because I think MMA, they don't even do clocks now. Like they do it like at certain points, they'll show, what's going on, but they don't show it the whole time. I think they stopped doing that. Oh. Yeah, I think it just gets distracting after all, especially a 2-hour show. I don't know.
Yeah. So that was AEW week 4, week 3?
Week 4.
Again, this was a very good show. Loved this show. Loved it.
Good show.
Yep.
They're all going to get hurt in the ratings tomorrow against the World Series. I think pretty bad, but this is a fun show.
So let's talk about NXT tonight. We opened with Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Hell of a match. I have to admit, I put this on the big screen and watched Private Party versus Lucha Bros on my iPad for this match.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Glenn.
Well, but I mean, Matt, how do you decide when you're watching on multiple devices? What's your...
Yeah. I'll be honest, AEW is always on my bedroom TV, and out here in the living room, which you can't see behind my laptop now, is where I keep my NXT on.
So you run between rooms?
I'll show you right now. See this doorway right here?
Yeah.
That's the doorway. You can't see to my bedroom. Hang on. God, I suck at this. Bedroom. So I stand right in the doorway, powerbombing Jackson on the bed behind that door, the entire time watching both shows.
Okay. That's what I do. Raj, how do you do your double screen?
I got the TV and an iPad. So I got TV, my iPad set up, and then I go back and forth depending on what's got the bigger segment.
Well, and that's the thing. For me, switching is where I like to just keep one on each screen. I find it easier. But with this tonight, look, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, I think they're fantastic. It was tough. I did start watching Private Party versus Lucha Brothers, but I really think Rhea Ripley getting this win tonight. There was interference at the end from both Io Shirai and Candice LeRae.
Belair.
What's that?
Protected Belair, which I like. I love Belair.
It's just funny to me that the women's wrestling in NXT is very, very good right now. I think there was a huge void after Bayley and Asuka left.
Yes. I didn't think they'd ever replenish him. I'll be honest. I did not. I figured WWE signed every top female talent in the country.
Yeah.
But dude, there's so many good women wrestlers out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was a great match tonight.
Their characters are developed, though. That's the coolest part with the NXT girls for the most part.
Yeah. This was a really good match. Bianca Belair is really improving. Rhea Ripley is really... I mean, it's clear that she's getting the title shot soon.
Yeah. She's a badass. But don't you think Belair, though, like, has that natural... So, like, from day one, when I first saw her, I was like, God dang, like, something draws your attention to her. She screams superstar.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as star quality, you know, in this match, and with Candice LeRae, it's Candice and Bianca Belair for sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I thought this was great. After that, with Rhea standing tall, we saw...
She's a badass. I think Rhea's a badass.
I think she's
going to make a good foil for, what's her name?
Candice?
No.
Oh,
eventually.
Shayna?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's up with Shayna. We'll see.
She can out-bully the bully. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we did see Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate talking about Pete's loss to Damian Priest last week, asking him what's next. Dunne saying he has payback coming to him. After that, we saw Tyler Bate at ringside, and we had Matt Riddle versus Cameron Grimes.
Why do you say it like that?
Well, because, I mean, this was going on when the Dark Order was on TV, and I'm telling you...
Everybody flocked to NXT.
Yeah, we're going to see it in the segment-by-segment ratings tomorrow. However much the Dark Order segment goes down, this segment goes up.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's a great... Yeah, I want to see what that turns out to be, actually. Good call. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This was a fantastic match. Doesn't Riddle need a title at some point?
I don't know. I think on the main roster, yeah. I think here, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they could do it, but
I think he's so over. I don't really think it does anything for him. What does it do for him?
Yeah. Although I do feel like it might be coming point for Adam Cole to drop it soon. I feel like he's cooling off a bit.
I think that this is the problem with having all of the gold on the Undisputed Era, is that it's just all there.
It's you know what? Thing.
You know, we criticize AEW for not doing the in-ring promos. NXT is not doing it at all, you know. And they really should be doing that with Adam Cole, because he's, you know, you got this great talker who's not doing any talking.
Yeah, and the budget to keep him fresh for when he does eventually get... Do you guys think he'll be called up?
I think eventually.
I feel like right now, Raw and SmackDown are pretty set for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, maybe around Mania time.
Maybe he's better off.
Yeah. That's the only thing. He has all the tools. I can see the size hurting him.
Me too.
But he's got the look, and a lot of times that helps overcome it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So Riddle won that match. Afterwards, he went to fist bump Grimes, but Grimes was not having any of it. Saw Dominic Dijakovic warming up backstage for the main event.
Dijakovic.
Dijakovic? There's no K. The Kovic doesn't get said.
Dijakovic. Oh, Jesus. Dijakovic. It's between what we said. Dijakovic.
You know what's funny? If you go back like a year, I swear to God, we were a little more on point. Now with 3 nights a week of wrestling, 2 shows at once, all this marathons, these pay-per-views.
That's a ridiculous name they gave him. Why couldn't they just keep his normal name?
If he gets called in main roster, Vince dropping that last name so fast, you're going to be seeing Don, you know.
He could be a star, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Morrow had a video, Morrow showed us a video from earlier with NXT General Manager William Regal announcing that the women's tag team champions Asuka and Kairi Sane will be defending their titles next Wednesday against the winners of tonight's the women's division tag team match. But then we had Breezango versus the Forgotten Sons. Mm-hmm. Breezango having a surprise partner tonight, and that was Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Smooth Scott, right?
That was Swerve.
Is it Swerve? Jeez.
Who is
Swerve? I just like the name. Swerve. Swerve is brilliant. Why is that been used?
Was this his debut?
No, he had lost a match a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we saw him do an enhancement match. Why has it taken this long for a wrestler to use Swerve in their name?
Yeah, you're right. This Swerve. Why does that thing smooth? I don't know.
Because it's a dated reference from a dated writer. No.
How often do you find that you have to explain the wrestling terminology you use in your day-to-day life, Matt, when you're in a business meeting?
When I first started, I swore I would never talk like these guys. I would never talk like that. I was friends with Nova. He's my first wrestler, along with Ray Traylor, was my second one that I met when I first moved to Louisville, Kentucky, and actually hung out with socially. And all they would do was talk like, "Hey, give me one of those gimmicks," or "Hey," they talk in wrestler slang. I remember telling my wife, she's like, "Why do they talk like that?" I'm like, "I don't know, but shoot me if I ever talk like that." If I start talking like, "Hey, what's your heat with me?" or stuff like that, you know what I mean? You have my permission to shoot me. And I swear to you guys, it was like 6 months in, and I was just completely swept up in it and talking just like them. And you can't shake it. I do it even now. Even now, sometimes in my commission meetings, you'll hear me I believe I did say the word gimmick in one of my meetings. Seriously, it's so funny, but it's like part of your everyday language. You cannot get rid of it.
I find myself saying pop and heat in real life.
Very common, yeah. Because people do get that, at least usually normal people do. But pop, they had no clue, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We're going over.
The word over again.
Tweeted last night, I legitimately used the term pot committed in a business email because of this damn podcast and LeBar introducing that to my vocabulary.
Yeah.
We pick up these bad habits. They're so hard to break. Brazongo with the big entrance tonight, coming out dressed as pilots, teaming with Isaiah Swerve Scott against the Forgotten Sons, and Isaiah Scott and Brazongo picking up the win. What'd you think of this match, man?
Good. The Forgotten Sons, I'm happy for. Obviously, you guys see who's a part of that group, right?
Yes.
You Gunner or
Gunner?
Yeah.
And so I'm happy for him, but I don't know how good that gimmick's going to be on TV.
It seems like a sanity kind of thing I don't see it lasting on main roster.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the same because Gunner can work. Gunner's always been able to work.
He's got the look, the size,
everything.
Yeah.
You know? Sometimes it's that stuff backstage. Sometimes it's how you handle it, which everybody loves him. Everyone gets along with him great. But sometimes it's that, letting the writers know without being a jerk about it that, you deserve better than what they write for you sometimes. It's a tough line not to cross.
It's unfortunate that more people didn't watch TNA when you had that feud with James Storm, because they did a great job, and that was kind of like a making feud. Like that can make someone if it's done on a large scale.
Seriously, the dude can go. Like AJ was telling me about him back in the days of wrestling NWA Wildside years ago, when he was one of our bodyguards and security guards for TNA for the longest time. I'm like, how's this jacked up guy not like on our roster yet? And AJ's like, I don't know, he can work.
Yeah, some people, yeah. And to your point, Matt, the Forgotten Sons, maybe they break him off. Maybe he gets the experience and then they do a split or something.
So I'll say this. It was not overdone tonight, but even the sidebar video with Roderick Strong talking about his comments about the triple threat tonight, Killian Dane standing next to a fire, wrapping tape around his fingers. I like these promos just enough.
I like that. I like the Killian Dane.
And I like that they're stylized. It's not all backstage like those awkward interviews with Ricochet. Ricochet, tell us about your match against AJ tonight, and it
gives them depth. It gives them a little bit more context to who they are. It's something as simple as that. Think about it.
Yeah, and it's not him like staring at a monitor awkwardly, standing sideways.
Right. So we got Leo Rush on commentary while Angel Garza versus Jack Gallagher happened tonight in the cruiserweight division.
I loved Jack Gallagher. I don't know what the hell he did wrong. He, to me, was entertaining.
Yeah, I actually was expecting Jack Gallagher to win this because Leo's kind of positioned as a babyface. So I thought Jack could be a great heel against Leo, to kind of get Leo's title reign off the, going. Garza, I see big things for him down the line, but it just doesn't feel like the right dynamic. They're going to have a fun match, but outside of that, as far as two personalities, I thought Leo and Gallagher could have been it.
He's so good. Gallagher's so good and damn entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think he was a victim of the transitions in NX or in 205 Live with Enzo and it becoming a character-driven show and then going to completely competition-based. I feel like he got lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But they did the right thing by keeping them off. Sometimes I think I'd rather be kept off of something. I never understood that. Cornette used to say that. I told you that. Never get any on you. Try not to get any on you when they're bad writing for you. I used to be like, wow, damn, I want to be on TV. It's right when I was breaking from being a bodyguard for Cornette and starting being a wrestler. Every week I'm like, damn, they're not starting me wrestling yet. When are they going to pull the plug on and start this, Jimmy? Like, listen, you really want to be part of this mess right now? He's like, wait. We're going to be getting creative. Dutch will be taking over eventually. Things like that. You know what I mean? Because you don't want what they do put you out there in something crappy. That's worse than not being on it all, believe it or not, sometimes.
Yeah.
So what was after?
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
What was after that?
I was just going to say, isn't it worse that the more time goes on, the more it becomes believable that Jim Cornette needs a bodyguard? I feel like every day more and more, I believe it more and more.
Probably just a favor to him to get me on TV, but then once they saw I could talk, I was off and running, you know?
Yeah. We had a number one contenders match for the women's tag team titles through NXT contenders. Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai versus Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke. I got to be honest, I'm not surprised necessarily that Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox won this match. I was surprised how short this match was. I mean, this did not seem like Shafir and Duke were on par with Baszler and Ronda Rousey in being defeated tonight in relative short order.
I like the unpredictability of the timing, though. I like that. I think that's where AEW goes wrong sometimes. They go too long with every single match sometimes.
And plus, they're not ready. They're still not even close to ready. So keep it short and sweet. Let them get experience. And Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai are baby faces. Kabuki Warriors are now heels. I thought this made complete sense.
So we got next week Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae, Cameron Grimes versus Tyler Bate, and the Kabuki Warriors defending against Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Then we had a triple threat for the NXT North American title, Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic versus Roderick Strong, with Roderick retaining tonight. What did you think of this match, Matt? And at any point, did you think the title was changing hands?
No. I didn't. They're great falses too, very believable falses. But no, because when a big man wins that title, it's generally not going to be in a three-way. It's going to be in a big two singles match, generally speaking. And I don't know. I just thought of it, Roddy coming out of it somehow.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they're building to a Keith Lee title reign yet, or Dijakovic. I see Dijakovic there probably sooner than later, or if not, if he doesn't get to the main roster first. But I thought Strong was maintained. I mean, especially if he just won it from Velveteen Dream, just like 4 weeks ago or whatever it was. So it just seemed way too soon.
Yeah. After that match, Strong raising the NXT North American title high as the Undisputed Era entered the ring and joined him. Then interrupted by Tommaso Ciampa with his crutch, interrupted by Johnny Gargano. Out comes Finn Balor. I'm thinking, who's the fourth man going to be in this face-off? And then Balor kicks Gargano in the head. They all start beating up Ciampa. What a surprise ending to go out on.
Those are beating Gargano.
Yeah. No, I thought he kicked Gargano. Gargano went out. I don't know. They all got beat up, and Finn was in on the beating. He prompted the beating. At the end, doing the finger guns.
Yeah.
Balor's back.
Heel Balor was leaving the ring. The Undisputed Era were in the ring. They were kind of flashing their signs, but Finn never flashed it back, and he just did the pointing, shooting guns at Johnny Gargano. So never really joined the Undisputed Era. I hope he doesn't, but it's cool. Finn looks badass as a heel.
If Finn is a blank slate in NXT, they can literally do anything with him. I think this will be different.
Yeah, because him going back as a babyface, it just felt done. And this feels fresh. This feels new because he hasn't been a heel yet in WWE or in NXT. Yeah.
So, Matt, because everybody likes to argue about which is better, who do you give the win to tonight between the two shows?
Ooh. I will say tonight was closer for me than other nights. I still go through AEW. I said it all. I could pick whichever room to permanently stay in and watch the show. And it's generally my bedroom, AEW, with NXT out here as the secondary TV. So for me, AEW held my attention more.
Raj?
Same here. I agree. I thought it was the closest week, but outside the Finn thing, I thought NXT was fine. It was good. And I thought AEW was really good. So I give the nod to AEW, but it was close because of that Finn Balor heel turn.
Yeah, I said at the beginning of the show, like for newsworthy things as far as that goes, the Balor heel turn was probably the thing of the night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, let me tell you who the biggest loser is this week. And that's WWE 2K20, the new video game that just came out yesterday. It is glitchy as hell. You've not seen the videos going around on Twitter with people's hair flying off.
There's you got to see the Charlotte referee video. It is something to behold. It's like Charlotte getting accosted by this referee.
Yeah, Kevin Owens winning by pinfall in a Money in the Bank match. Like, there's just some crazy shit. So, Raj, what's the story on the development?
So there is just backlash to this game like there's never been for a WWE video game before. I mean, it's all the Sports Illustrated has an article about it, CNET, IGN.
Not the Sports Illustrated.
The Sports Illustrated.
IGN big.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just getting shredded. I guess there was a version of the game that you could buy. It's supposed to have an autographed copy by Edge. People got it, and it has a picture of Edge, but no autograph. So Edge tweeted out, he's filming a movie. He doesn't know, someone messed up. He doesn't know who it was, but he's going to set up a P.O. box when he's done filming and we'll take care of it. But it's just been a disaster. So 2K Sports was with a developer called Ukes. And they parted ways this past August after a 20-year partnership. And apparently that probably has a lot to do with it. The Ukes had concerns with their relationship with 2K Sports, so they went off and they're developing their own wrestling game. So, it's just been fix WWE 2K20 has been trending on Twitter all week.
Here Comes the Pain, for my money, was the best one. I heard that they were supposed to do a remake of it, but supposedly use the same engine from that or something to that effect. Glenn, does that sound familiar?
You mean for this, or Here Comes the Pain?
From Here Comes the Pain.
So it's something like that because after Ukes left, 2K had to go back to some old engine and use that engine. I think it's a PS1 engine and revamp it.
Seriously.
So PlayStation's giving refunds. It's to people who bought it. It's been a mess.
What's crazy is Here Comes the Pain was actually really, really good at the time. It was really ahead of its time, but that probably versus today's tech is terrible. But
yeah, well, my favorite wrestling game of all time is still Pro Wrestling on the NES.
Starman.
Yeah, King Slender and Fighter Hayabusa.
Starman would do like that standing backflip drop kick to your chest.
Yeah, he'd do that like flying elbow thing.
Oh, Amazon, bite your head.
King Corn Karn. It's kind of similar. But yeah, so 2K, bad week for WWE. Their stock's been dropping. CNN has an article saying that the stock was probably dropping because the ratings are down and they feel like the ratings are reflecting popularity. Got a little good news this week. The football was a blowout, so Raw was up in their ratings this week, 3%. Still one of the top 10 lowest shows of all time that they've done, but it was up 2.76%. To 2.342 million viewers. The big reason was because they didn't drop as much from hour 1 to hour 3 because like Monday Night Football had the big game. So they actually started off lower than last week, but finished stronger than last week.
Ask you a question. If they don't turn things around and the ratings keep dwindling, after their contract comes up for like USA and the contract comes up for Fox, do you think people just pass on them?
It's a long time. Right? It's 5 years. And who knows how bad the TV industry is in. I mean, WWE has declined quickly from when they signed with Fox. They were actually... So SmackDown last year beat what SmackDown on Fox did last week. But SmackDown on USA last year also was the SmackDown 1000. So it's kind of an unfair comparison. But there are stock implications. Vince McMahon has been telling stockholders that this Fox move is going to be a big boon to the company. And now you're seeing that it's not. I mean, it's impossible to say where they'll be in 5 years. And
Fox, I'm not just saying it's give them a G plug. They've done an amazing job of promoting the hell out of it. The graphics even are awesome. You ever see the graphics like before the match starts?
Yeah.
Just like they do on NFL Game Day, they do the same type of thing. It looks so cool. So they're getting all the help from the damn network. This is critical.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting once again.
Yeah, you watch football on Fox, you're seeing it constantly. So all that new audience that came in to tune in that first week basically left because now they're at numbers where they've basically been. So
can't blame the network. Can't blame the wrestlers either. Get the only thing they've not tried is can all of the writers bring back wrestlers.
Really, it's Vince though, right? Because I mean, you hear every former writer talk about their ideas and their stuff.
Talk to the wrestlers, especially like a Kevin Nash and people like that.
Yeah.
The way he does and jabrones these writers. These writers are kids. They shit their pants around the guy. Kevin Nash ain't doing that. I've been someone like that.
Yeah. I mean, you just look at the promos that Jericho's cutting right now compared to what you're seeing.
They have to at least try. Vince is got it.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Succession on HBO, and all I keep thinking is like, this is what the McMahon family, this is like what's going on there. You got the old out of touch patriarch that just won't let go.
Well, he might have to if the XFL, starts taking off or has any success. At least during the season, he's going to have to,
do something.
Divide his time. Sorry, go ahead. I think CM Punk, the Fox update, he says he hasn't been contacted by him, even though there were reports that they were impressed by him and were likely going to make him an offer. But Punk says he hasn't heard anything. He's interested in the gig, hasn't heard anything.
Impressed by him for what?
Just how good he is on camera, in that kind of setting as far as an analyst on the show. And he's been doing MMA commentary, so he's good at that kind of stuff. But yeah, so it's for that backstage TV show role. And then the last thing, AJ Styles is going to be defending his U.S. title at Crown Jewel. They're going to have a 20-man battle royal, and the winner of that, the battle royal is going to take place that night. They didn't say who's in it, and the winner of that faces AJ later in the show for the title. So there you go. And they're also going to do World Cup Tag Team Turmoil match with the winners being crowned the greatest tag team in the world. We saw how that worked out last year with Shane winning. But there we go. So maybe it'll be Shane and Stephanie winning. We will see.
There you have it. He is BP Matt Morgan on the Twitter, on the Instagram, and everywhere else. He's Raj Giri _303. I'm Glenn Rubenstein. Stay tuned to Wrestling Inc. for all your latest wrestling news. We will be back on Friday night to talk about SmackDown on Fox. Until next time, we will catch you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.